Enlargement in general, I think, continues to be one of the most important policies of the European Union. It is very important that this process did not come to an end with the last enlargement wave, which first resulted in the acceptance of 10 new members and then another 2 new members. It was emphasized already at the time that this is an open-ended process, and one of the best proofs of these characteristics is that very soon we can welcome the 28th member. On the 1st of July 2013, Croatia will join the European Union. And I think at this point we have to also point out the major role of the Hungarian presidency, as they really play a pivotal role in ensuring that Croatia would join on time. The inclusiveness of regional cooperation and progress needs to be strengthened, and it is also important that the whole process is not upheld or not upheld by bilateral issues. The Commission always stands ready to try to mitigate in this process. I hope that this opportunity and the Next in Line project can play and will play a useful role in this exercise.
We all know that these days it's perhaps not the most interesting topic to talk about, because everybody's talking about banking union and how to deepen the economic and monetary union of the European Union, but there is still an enlargement process going on, which is very important. We should not forget that the most important factor influencing the discussion on enlargement is the crisis and the Union's internal reflection of how do we go from here as far as the economic and institutional setup of the Union is concerned. De facto, you might treat Croatia as already surely becoming the next member state of the European Union. De jure, we still have a ratification process to finish, which hopefully will not be problematic. Last remarks on the future, in the year ahead of us. 2013 might be a more interesting year in the sense for enlargement, because politically there have been some changes recently which made us suggest that there might be some advances in the relations between the EU and Turkey. We all know that with the change of the president in France, there was a bit more favorable environment to that particular relation.
These days the European Union's grand project or grand strategy is concerning not the enlargement but crisis management. In this year I have been at least 10 major conferences all around Europe, and none of these conferences were organized about the enlargement process. We must define or we must put a question about why Europe, and the other is which Europe we want. The legitimacy of the European Union, the new European Union, is very important, not just for the poor countries, but for those countries which want to join. The effectiveness of the European Union is a very major point in the enlargement process, I think. Finally, just one final question. If we want to build an efficient Europe, then we must avoid the multi-speed Europe, which is, I think, more and more a reality for the European integration, and it would be a very serious problem for the newcomers as well.
And everybody wants to be part of the European Union. But in that process we are really facing with difficulties, because the people from the politics quarreling all the time about the crucial question is the question of competency of the state and entities.
But the progress has been huge. So this economical growth creates a confidence amongst the politicians, amongst the businessmen, amongst the public. And then it creates other opportunities, like, European Union is our first, one of the major export countries, we export goods. But now we have other options too, like Russia, like Middle East, like Asia, like Africa. I think there are still stereotypes that we should break between two European Union and Turkey, there are still stereotypes that we should break, and the answer the solution to break that stereotype is a dialogue.
The main difference that I believe that Bosnia has no real chance at this stage to become member of the EU in the coming 15 years, while Iceland is right on the verge of being member if the referendum will support it. And also there is a huge difference that Bosnia is still not ready for the EU membership and sticks. So in Bosnia or in Serbia, politicians are involved in short-term issues. They want to survive, they want to stick to the power in the coming 3 or 4 years. And in case of Serbia and Bosnia and in Kosovo, there is no real chance becoming member states in 10 or 15 years. And it means that they are not very much interested what will be in 14 or 15 years. Hungary and the other former socialist countries were adopting the European law judicial system after having real chance to become members. I don't see the same with these countries.
First of all, I found the Turkish people are very optimistic. I think we talked about anything, about the economy, about the status of the democracy, about the minority rights, about the freedom of the media. I always heard the answer, yes, the situation would be better, but we are on the right way and our country is a better place now than 10 years ago. Let me quote from Ms. Nurhan Tavuk. She's an independent economist in Istanbul. And she said, I think if Turkey joins the European Union, it will be mostly beneficial for Europe, not for Turkey.
And I just want to note for the record that there are major problems with the basic freedom of expression and freedom of the press.
Freedom of expression issues. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying we don't have. We have. What I'm saying is that it's because of those problems, things are interpreted in a different way. So it's not that just like coming from the air. There has some problems. It's going on problems, and we have issues of freedom of expression. Okay, we totally agree with that.
Enlargement process as regards Serbia and Bosnia is in your opinion more or less just the same. It will not be fulfilled in 10 years approximately. Do you share this process? Because it seems to me, and this is my question, that Serbia is much more ready for joining to the EU, whereas in Bosnia we are witnessing a situation where there is practically, but please correct me if I am wrong, it doesn't exist a real state.
My Serbian friends were saying that you have mentioned this multi-speed European Union, and they are very much afraid of this, and they keep saying to me that they don't really want to be on the periphery of the multi-speed European Union because they have nothing to gain from it. And there's one more thing I would like to add, that in case of Serbia, this whole Kosovo issue is not a problem only on the Serbian side. So we have heard that 5 European Union countries had not recognized Kosovo as an independent state, so it will pose a lot of problem in Serbia.
I would like to hear from your experience. What's the role of the NGO, civil sector and media in the whole process?
As regards the NGO's role in EU accession, although I personally was not working with the organization at that time when the Hungarian negotiations were on the way, but as far as the institutional memory is concerned, this was an opportunity. The EU accession negotiations was the opportunity for the NGOs to put down a real civil society-based European type of agenda on the table of the government that really gave us space to move into, if you like, to put our feet in the door in a way, like tackling issues which were never addressed, because in many aspects, I mean, I mostly talk about human rights and constitutionality, rule of law issues, so it's less about the economic powers and and the functioning of the state. But it's true that through the Western European values, the European Union was at that time projecting its own agenda on the Hungarian or the other joining member states' institutions.
My question is, to what extent media freedom and pluralism affects the enlargement negotiations, and what is your experience and what do you think about these topics?
Political criteria, including media freedom, is something that the Commission is looking at very closely. And I would even dare to say, speaking about the country that I know the best, that even for existing EU member states, there's more and more attention from the Commission to judge existing EU member states upon these issues. So I would say that the trend is increasingly important, not just for the candidate countries, but also for existing EU member states. And this is why I was saying that it's a learning by doing process, because as more and more countries join the European Union, the more heterogeneous it becomes, the more problems it incorporates, therefore new solutions have to be found to that.
I would like to ask about Kosovo, how much it would be a precondition for Serbia's accession to recognize Kosovo.
It's a difficult question to answer, because there are 27 member states, there are at least 2 or 3 divergent views on that. But again, let me just be a bit more optimistic in that regard, because the European Union has been always very creative to come up with solutions. For instance, a solution that we always say that we are trying to use, for instance, in the case of the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, is that, look, why don't we start the accession negotiations? The process will not be finished until we come to the end of the negotiations, and then there is still a ratification process on the 27 member states. So all those who have problems, you still have a veto until the very end of the process. Why don't we just go on and let's see how the integration goes on, and maybe integration process itself will be a huge influential factor to find a solution to the problem.